With another big update, DICE invited a bunch of people to a pre-release capture event showcasing the new class system in Battlefield 2042. In addition to this return to a beloved Battlefield staple, the snowy map Breakaway has also seen a huge rework that keeps the action much closer, and there have been quite a few familiar items added back into the Battlefield mix. So let's dive in and take a closer look at the changes coming to Battlefield 2042 Update 3.2. DICE has been quite vocal about the changes it's making to the class system in Battlefield 2042. This was one of the biggest criticisms of the game when it launched from hardcore Battlefield fans. Since the game already has specialists, DICE decided to divide those specialists into 4 different familiar classes. We have Assault, Engineer, Support, and Recon. Each class will have a native gadget like a defibrillator for support, a specialist gadget like the sentry gun for Boris, and a specialist trait like Zane's self-healing after a kill, and also the ability to choose an additional class-specific gadget. So there's still quite a few things to customize here. In addition to class-specific gadgets, each class has proficiency bonuses for specific weapon types. Assault gets 3 extra magazines when using assault rifles, and the engineer specialists are more steady when using an LMG while crouched or prone. Support specialists have a faster draw time with SMGs, and the Recon class has an instant steady aim with sniper rifles. Due to having a class gadget, specialist gadget, and another optional gadget, there is an additional slot for equipment, which is by default mapped to the 5 key. Alright, now let's dive in and take a look at the different specialists. First up, we have Assault. The Assault specialists are Sundance, Dozer, McKay, and Zane. The Assault gadget is a med pen, so you can get back in the action quicker. I spent most of my time in the Assault class with Zane and his airburst rifle, which also now has a thermal scope. There are quite a few other changes that are coming to this update. The selectable Assault gadgets include a smoke launcher, armor plates, C5, and a claymore mine. Yes, the claymores are coming back. Having armor plates along with the native med pen is an interesting choice for the Assault class. There was quite a bit of feedback in the Q&A session after the capture event where some were concerned about the additional health given to Assault characters from the plates. In my experience, it didn't really seem to help my KD that much though. But for top tier players, this might make a big difference. There isn't an option for health or ammo with Assault, but if an Assault rifle is selected, the Assault class gets an additional 3 magazines, which is a substantial increase in ammo over the standard capacity. Alright, now let's move on to the Engineer class, which the specialists are Boris, Liz, and Crawford. The Engineer class gadget is a repair tool, and each specialist has their own gadget. Boris has a sentry gun, Liz her rocket launcher, and Crawford that controllable turret. Gadget options include an anti-tank mine, the recoilless launcher, AA anti-air launcher, C5, the Javelin launcher, which is returning from some previous Battlefield titles, and the EOD robot. It's fun to see some of these old favorite gadgets returning to BF 2042, but I also can't help to think that, like, some other things that they should have been here from the very beginning. And moving on to support, the specialists are Irish, Falk, and Angel. For the class gadget, support specialists have a defibrillator, and reviving teammates grants different bonuses depending on that specialist. For example, Irish will revive and restock gadget ammo, Falk will revive to full health, and Angel grants additional weapon ammo. By default, the defibrillators are set to the number 5, and like in previous Battlefield titles, they can be pulled out and charged up while approaching a downed teammate, so you don't have to actually stand right next to him. Or alternatively, you can still approach a teammate and hold down the action key, which is how revives have functioned up until now in Battlefield 2042. And as before, squad mates can still revive other downed squad members no matter what class they're playing. Support gadgets consist of the ammo box, health box, smoke launcher, or a claymore mine. The weapon proficiency for support is faster draw speed when using SMGs, and I gotta say, the PBX-45 did feel pretty good when using Angel. In the past, Angel has been my favorite specialist to play. I enjoy being able to revive teammates and having basically unlimited ammo thanks to the specialist trait. Also, the ability to drop in a loadout and switch it up with a completely different equipment was a huge bonus to adapt to the battlefield. Now, that will be a bit different thanks to that class system rework. I can't swap from an insertion beacon to a rocket launcher, for example. It changes up the extreme adaptability that was present up until now in Battlefield 2042, but places more emphasis on team dynamics and ensuring that roles are filled. And lastly, we'll talk about Recon, and unfortunately our playtime was cut a bit shorter than expected. We didn't really get to play the 4th match that they said we would be able to, and I wasn't able to play the Recon classes at all. I was kind of waiting for that last match to dive into Recon. The class trait for Recon is instant steady aim when using sniper rifles, and there were some players who were really able to take advantage of this ability. ability. The class gadget is an insertion beacon for Recon specialists. For additional gadgets, Recon can choose from C5, a claymore mine, proximity sensor, SOFLAM, as well as 2 new additions, the TUGS that will detect nearby enemy movement, this is something we've used in previous Battlefield titles, and a tracer dart gun that can tag enemy vehicles and assist in targeting when using certain missiles. And like I said, I was bummed to really not be able to try any of these changes out on the Recon class for lack of time, but I look forward to giving them a try when the update goes live. Besides the class system, another major focus point of this update to Battlefield 2042 is a rework of the map Breakaway. At launch, getting close to the action and some of the objectives when playing both Breakthrough and Conquest often meant traveling across huge open areas. Now everything has been brought closer together with this remake. The oil rig, for example, is much easier to access without the large open pathways to get there. There's a lot more cover overall throughout the map as well, which makes flanking and moving about the map easier if you don't have a sniper rifle. We were only able to play Breakthrough on Breakaway, so it wasn't very easy to really explore and take in the changes to the map, but what I've seen so far I've really enjoyed. And in addition to the return of the class system, the Breakaway rework, and returning gadgets, there are a couple other changes. There are a few new weapons that have been added, like the MTAR-21. Changes have been made to how some of the weapons and attachments behave as well. For example, it seems across the board that the drum magazines now slow down the ADS time of weapons, and according to DICE, this is to try to reduce their prevalence in matches and push people to use different magazines. And at the time of recording this, we have yet to see all of the patch notes, but there are quite a few changes to this update, and most of them I think are for the better. Gameplay has also been improved, and the game has never felt better. I was playing on the new build in the NZXT H9 that we recently did. Check out the video up here in the corner if you want to see that. And I was getting great FPS throughout the event with my resolution set to 1440p and graphics at ultra. And for some final thoughts here, personally, I love the direction that Battlefield 2042 is headed. The game has never felt so smooth, and the new maps and updates have added a lot of that war-torn look back into the Battlefield world. It will be interesting to see how the new class system and these new gadgets play out. Some of the participants in the capture event were concerned about the prevalence of C5 across the different classes and the capabilities of Recon snipers, but DICE mentioned that they'll be keeping a close eye out for any changes that they need to make to balance this a little bit more. So as with any of these big updates, if you already own Battlefield 2042 and put it on pause for a while, this is always a great time to jump back in and check out the new changes and see if it's something that you want to spend some more time in. Personally, I still really enjoy playing Battlefield 2042. It's still a game that I'll hop on with a couple of my friends and play, once a week, once every other week, and we usually have a great time doing it. So let us know what you think about this new update down in the comments below, and if you're hopping onto Battlefield with this new update, hopefully I'll see you there. And thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up so others can find it easier, and consider subscribing. This is Jordan with 9to5 Toys.